And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Dynasty Dogs podcast, episode 3 now, post week 1 episode, post Monday Night Football episode, post
Post
Giants win,
Giants win.
post Giants
Let's
win.
go.
The, screw a victory Monday. This is victory week. We have not had an opening day win since 2016. So
Yeah.
we are going to be talking our smack. Does not matter. I don't want to hear nothing. We're so hyped, Nick. I know you're hyped, bro. Talk to him a little.
It's amazing. It feels great. I was talking about it for like weeks leading up. I'm like, we could like Tennessee, they're not a team that's gonna expect us to come in and beat them. Like they're gonna probably take us easy. They were the 1 seed last year. We were trash. We got a new coach. Like we always, you have a chance. And then obviously Kayvon didn't play and Aziz wasn't back, and I was like, it's not looking great. But we were able to come through, get the win. We get to play trash Baker Mayfield this week. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Wink's
respect my
gonna
boy,
blitz
bro.
the shit out of him. Your boy's Baker. I'm sorry for you. But no, yeah, it's amazing. We got Saquon Barkley. I mean, what else is there to say? If you didn't draft him, you feel sorry. If you did, you're celebrating. There's another player we have to talk about for the Giants who had 2 touches this game, played 7 snaps, and his name is Kadarius Toney, someone we're high on. I am high on. I won't speak for Khan,
Nah,
but
come on.
I think
I'm gonna hop in after.
Tony's ceiling is a top 15 fantasy wide receiver if he hits. And he's not someone that even needs the snaps. That's the thing. He doesn't need 70% of the snaps. He put up 189 yards and 10 catches against the Cowboys on 54% of snaps. All we need from this man is like 40%. Give me 40% of the snaps and I'm comfortable next week. I think the reason is not really clear, but I think it's because he's been like a little lackluster in practice and holding back. But then in a presser today, Dable was saying how I love how KT, even though he wasn't playing as much as he wanted to, he was celebrating with his teammates. He was jumping up and down in the air when we won the game. Like, I think he's bought in now. I think he's realized I got to be here for them, like, to get my play time. He's going to want it. So I think he's going to figure it out and he'll be okay. But I don't think he's startable week 2. I
Yeah,
would keep him on your bench and see what happens.
yeah, I definitely agree with him not being startable this week. And just to go back to what you said about me potentially not being as high on him as you are, I do think all things being considered, if he does pan out, you're probably like a smidge higher on him than I am. But my concern with him, as everybody's already is, and we know this, is
Health.
not that he's a
That's the
bad
number
player.
one thing.
That you know, this is the second regime now, who's second coaching staff, I should say, who's been like, you know what, Tony, week 1, you're not going to be involved, and we could say what we want, but that's a little bit, alarming. If it takes a benching for him to, to bust his ass in practice and, you know, run through conditioning. Like there was a Giants beat reporter who was talking about how when the team's doing conditioning a couple of weeks ago, Tony was sitting on his helmet, and that really pissed off Dayball. So that was, if there's one instance, we can assume that there's a couple more. So stuff like that is the concern. And if it takes a benching for him to, snap out of it and wake up, and so be it. But it's not the first time this has happened where he's gotten benched week 1. We've seen him punch, an opponent during a game. No matter what's happened, to cause that, he did do it. And I love the kid. And as a Giants fan and as a football fan, I want him to succeed, but there's stuff that you can't ignore. So until he goes out there and he does it, I'm gonna be a little bit skeptical, that Dable's gonna trust him fully. But I hope he does, man, because him not being on the field is something that, as a fan of football, you don't want to hear. You want to see him on your TV, catching a slant, making a guy miss.
Making 5 guys miss in one play.
Yeah. So
He's so special. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say he's a lock. He's going to be a top receiver. There's obviously the health question about him. There's obviously the factor of him getting on the field, which I am just more positive about. I think that he's gonna buy in now and like really put forth effort after he's like around that environment. Last year, the Giants were a crap team. I mean, not that we don't know how much better they are this year, but a win like that is a big deal. And like for the whole team in the locker room, there's videos of him dabble and the whole team like jumping and dancing. Like
Yeah.
it's different. That's Joe Judge would not be doing that shit. And like I think it's way easier to buy into something like this for him, for a player that's like he should know he's the second best weapon on that offense. He should know that. And I think that the role and the amount of potential he has is too high to ignore.
And listen, we said second best player on that offense
Yes.
because that boy 2-6, that boy Saquon Barkley is back, man.
He
What
killed
a
it.
freaking game from him, bro. I think it was 18 carries for 164 yards.
Yeah, he had like 194 all-purpose yards,
Yeah.
touchdown, and the 2-point conversion.
What a talk about, bro, dominating a game. I have never seen a running back. Obviously there's performances that I've missed because I'm only 20 years old and whatnot.
Adrian Peterson had some of
Yeah,
those performances.
but that is one of the best running back performances I've seen in my life. And I was talking about this with another Giants fan. I have not seen Saquon run like that in my life.
I have. You have.
Physically,
Philly game.
like
The
putting your
Philly
shoulder
game.
in a defender and making
No, that's different. He's never done that. He was really trying to go through people this game.
Yeah, that bro, that is everything for him.
Yes. If he
Because
could do that consistently.
yeah, we know what he does, in terms of his elusiveness, his agility, breakaway speed, acceleration, all that stuff. But if he can, on first down, hit a 7-yard run instead of a 2-yard run, now we can run play action off of that 2nd and 3, or a draw, whatever it is, whatever you want to scheme up. Everything is so much easier in short yardage.
It
So
is.
much easier. So if he's really committed to putting his shoulder into chest this season and knocking people back on their feet, man, he's gonna be special because this is everything I've ever wanted to see from Saquon.
There was that one, I think it was the second play he tried, and he kind of got tackled on the play, but you could see he was like going like back and forth like he was gonna juke, and then he just goes boom right into the dude's chest. That was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, this is not a Giants podcast, boys. We know.
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry. We're just a little hype. We're just a little hype. Sorry.
A little hype. Okay, so what do you want to get into first?
I think we'd be remiss not to talk about the return of Michael Thomas.
Yeah, MT. Slant boy, as some call him, but he's a beast. I like Michael Thomas. I'm so happy. He had 5 catches, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ooh, it was nice. It was very nice. 8 targets.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not going to score those touchdowns all the time, but he is going to get about 10 yards a catch. So you could see 8 for 80 games. Sprinkle a touchdown here and there. I think Michael Thomas is going to be great this year. I think if you're trying to sell him off one performance, I don't think people are going to be brought in enough after one game. So you might have to wait a game or two. But I think he's going to be a solid wide receiver 2 this season.
Well, look. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, that's basically what I wanted to say. I was just going to say I think he's going to be around a wide receiver 2.
Gotcha. So what I was going to say was he was on a snap count this game.
Yes, he was.
He came in, around the red zone and he got his targets there. But if you're telling me that this guy in 61% of snaps is going to have 8 targets and they're going to be looking for him on the goal line, I think it's wheels up from here because Jameis, I like how he's developed the last couple of years. I have to be honest. I think he's been really good.
Yeah.
They have a good offense with Kamara and Jarvis Landry looking good and Chris Olave who looked good. Taysom Hill is a weapon that they could use.
Get him out of here.
Johnson, played well this week, which surprised me. So, if he's going to earn 8 targets on 61% of snaps, I could see, 10, 11 targets on average if he's playing around 85, 90% of snaps once he's fully healthy. So, with a good offense, with a good line, I think Michael Thomas, obviously the big question is the health. But if he's healthy, he's going to be, I think a solid maybe 6 for 70 and a touchdown every other week. So that's a great player for you.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, like Kamara, I know a lot of people are gonna freak out. I think he had nine carries and 4 targets. So, 13 opportunities. It's not what you're used to with Kamara, but also I don't think it's what we're gonna see this whole season. I think you should not overreact. I mean, in Dynasty, if you're not really a real contender, if you're like a fringe team and like you don't, if you need picks to like set yourself up, I don't mind selling him. But if you're a contender, I definitely would buy him. I think I would buy him right now. I don't even know if he did much off this game. I mean, he had a bad fantasy game, but everyone knows who Kamara is. He's been a top 10 back every year this year. I know we were talking about this before the episode, Con, but there's no reason to believe that he will not be a top at least 12 running back. I mean, I don't think he's going to get those 80 receptions that we were seeing in the beginning of his career, but even if it's about 60, 65, and you're getting the rushing, like Alvin Kamara is a special player. He's always going to be a big part of your offense, and he should always be on your fantasy team. I mean,
Well,
we haven't seen anything over the years to say, I don't want this guy on my team.
I
He even
get
evaded a suspension. Like, who the hell
he
does that
did,
stuff?
he did evade a suspension, which is crazy because he couldn't, and whoever else it is that's been suspended, I don't know, Hopkins, Brady, whoever, they haven't evaded suspension. So
He
he,
beat the shit out of that guy. That guy was. You saw the picture of him?
bro, respect Kamara acting in self defense.
Hell yeah, of
Respect.
course.
So I know we were talking a little bit about this off air, but I don't think Kamara is a lock for top 12 this year, and I'm willing to accept all the uh, the potential backlash that comes with that if I get this wrong. But last year, he averaged about. Let me just make sure I get my numbers right on this. He averaged about 5 targets a game, and he had about 3.6 catches a game. And that's just about in line with what he had this week. He had 4 targets for 3 catches. Obviously, he's not always going to have 4 targets. He's going to have his weeks where he has his 7, 8 targets, etc. He's a great player. The efficiency was not there from in the past game, but that's going to go up. And I think the best case that you can make for him is that this offense is going to be great, so he could have a lot of touchdowns. However, I don't think that on 5.5 targets a game, top 12 is easily in his range of outcomes. I think if he's going to be getting about 12 carries a game over a 17-game season, let's project him to miss 2 games, right? So 12 by 15 is 180 carries, which is about in line with his averages over his career. Rookie year was 120, second year was 190, third year was 170, fourth year was 190, and then last year he set a career high with 240 carries. No surprise, that was his least efficient year in terms of yards per carry. Even though it's not a perfect stat, doesn't tell everything, doesn't tell the full story. That is something that you have to, you know, acknowledge. So I do think that rushing attempt number is going to come down. I think that's going to affect his total yardage. I don't think he's ever going to get to his 21 touchdown season, which was 2 years ago now. So I think,
Oh, that's not. You can't expect that. Yeah.
yeah, that's not something that you can expect with Jameis running this offense. And granted, I said that he's been really good, and I do think he's been really good. But between Kamara having a potential 20 touchdowns and then MT, Olave, Jarvis Landry, that's projecting a lot of scoring, and I don't know if I can do that for this team. So
Well, I think you can because let's talk about this. They were playing Atlanta.
yeah,
That Saints are known for having a good defense, right? Atlanta gave them a tough time. They put up points. They scored, what did they have, 25 points that game?
yeah,
That's the Saints defense in the past. They're not giving up 25 points to Atlanta. We don't know. It's week 1. overreactions. I'm not really getting that into it, but
Yeah.
it's a possibility their defense takes a step back and their offense is forced into having more scoring opportunities and more need to score. Like, they used to be like a team that had a great defense. They would score early and then they'd be kind of like coasting. But if they're in games that are tight and they're in shootouts, I think that only helps Kamara, obviously, because they're going to be passing more to him. He'll have more, like 5 targets a game in that case. I mean, he only had 4 this game, but it was week 1. They were trying to get MT back in it. They had the first game with Landry, so they're kind of like end Olave, like basically a lot of new shit all coming together. And Kamara has his role defined. I think it was more about seeing how the offense works aside from him.
I think that's a fair point. The only thing that I would say is we know MT had his 8 targets, Landry had 9 targets, and Olave only had 3 targets. Juwan Johnson, I believe, had like 6 targets. I'm
Hmm.
just going to double check that so that, I'm not lying to you guys. He had 5 targets. So between them, that's 17, 20, 25 targets. And adding on Kamara's targets, that's 30. So in a game, they were behind in this game ever since, the first quarter.
Yeah.
So on a 36 to 40 pass workload, I mean, how I don't see how they can spread the ball around that much and Kamara can get more than like 6 targets a game. I really don't. It's
Well, that's
obviously,
a good baseline. If you're going 5, 6 targets a game, that's not bad at all.
yeah, but it's
If
not.
you're
It's not.
giving him 10, 12, what do you say, 12 carries a game?
Yeah.
Plus, say we give him 5 targets. That's
Hmm.
17 opportunities for Alvin Kamara a game.
Well, let's say he catches 80% of his passes. That's 16. Because if he only catches 4, obviously.
I'm just saying opportunities. Like he's getting that,
Okay.
yeah. Because there's
And
going to be runs that get stopped at the right at the line of scrimmage. Like, but give or take, you're getting those opportunities.
yeah,
You're getting his way. So I don't know. I'm very high on him. Like I've been through his career, but it's interesting the points you're making. I wonder if anyone agrees
just
with
for
you. If you
reference.
agree, leave a comment where you think about Kamara
Yeah,
this year. You
yeah.
think he's going to
Please, guys,
be,
leave comments.
yeah, if you think he's going to be
Like,
top 10 or not.
like and share. Like if you agree with me. Share if you agree with Nick.
Yeah.
But just for reference, Kamara's career, his career targets per game, not counting last season, is 6.25. So if you're dropping, anywhere to the 5.25 to 5.5 range, that's a full target per game, and you know if that one target turns into one catch for 15 yards, that's 2.5 points. That's over the course of a season. That's a lot of points. That adds
Yeah.
up. So I'm just not as bullish, and I don't think it's a lock at all. We'll see. We'll put a friendly trash talk bet on it, me and Nick. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think that with Jameis there, not looking for him as much and looking more downfield because he has 3 really good receivers, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Kamara as a full-fledged RB1.
Good thing he's behind JT for me in one league.
Yeah, he's a fucking animal.
Okay, so
Another one of your guys
Bears
though.
Niner.
Yeah,
Okay,
one of your boys was playing. He was playing in the mud, playing in a hurricane and a tsunami. But
yeah.
I still think he looked great, and I think the other quarterback looked great too. Of course, that's Trey Lance and that's Justin Fields. You want to touch on your man a little? Oh, excuse me. Touch on
Pause.
touching that game a little.
Shout out Trey
Oh
Lance.
my god.
Trey Lance, even though he didn't do great for fantasy, which you couldn't expect. I mean, it was a goddamn monsoon. He damn sure kept rushing yards back. Thank you, Trey Lance. I'll be betting that every week this year.
Yeah.
But damn, yeah. I mean, you can't judge anything. You see all these geniuses on Twitter. Oh, I'm out on Montgomery. I'm out on Komet. I'm out on Mooney. I'm out on Ayuk. Like, if you really think, if you didn't, if you watched that game and you saw the field conditions, I was happy that we got through that game with we
No.
lost Elijah Mitchell, but
Oh yeah, that's
no
true.
injuries to like Lance. Thank God Kittle wasn't playing. Honestly, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, but it was a mess. It was disgusting. They shouldn't. I've never seen a game in that bad of rain before. Not that I can recall. I mean, I was scared for players' health more than like how they did in fantasy. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
don't.
you can't judge Fields, you can't judge Lance in a bad way. If you want to take away some, I didn't see many positives because it was such a shit show. And I mean, Ayuk had 3 touches for 36 yards. That's not bad. Debo, he fumbled. I remember that. And then he had the touchdown. But like, there wasn't much to take away from the game. I'm excited for week 2 to see. Niners have Seattle this week, so that should be a
Yeah,
interesting matchup.
yeah,
Kittle might be back. I'm not sure. He's still questionable, but I'm excited for that. And I don't want anyone don't drop Cole Kmet. Don't be off of him. If you were on him to begin with, this game having a goose egg, you should not be mad. Like, I mean, yeah, be mad about the weather. Don't be mad about his performance. It's not on him. Don't be
uh,
mad about Trey Lance and Justin Fields throwing for not even 150 yards, but like, I don't know what else you want. It's
I
disgusting. The field was
don't
gross.
know. I don't know about Komet. That's the one player who.
I'm saying if you were high on Komet, if you liked him before this game, this should not have taken you off of the Komet wave. Like if you didn't like him before this game, if you want to use it as a negative, you can do it. But I don't agree.
We gotta
Wait till
push
he's
agendas.
playing on like
We gotta push agendas.
push agendas. Yeah, fuck this weather. Fuck the rain. Get a goddamn roof dome over your shitty stadium. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I know logistically that shit's hard to do, but like, bro, we can't build stadiums with a dome in each stadium. Are we serious?
I don't get it.
Are
It's
we like
bullshit. Look,
whatever?
David Montgomery had some good plays in that game. He looked good. I liked it. I know some people don't like David Montgomery. It's just that whole game was a shit show. I'm moving past it. It never happened. It's bullshit. On to week 2. I want to see them playing on a goddamn football field, not in a goddamn slip and slide. How about that? Fuck you, NFL. Bullshit.
Look, I agree that we should not be overreacting to this, but I don't. I think I'd be lying if I said that there's nothing to take away. I think Khalil Herbert looked good. I think there's a legitimate case to be made that Montgomery's not going to be the only guy giving meaningful touches there.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, I agree.
that is I could see Herbert taking 35-40% of the snaps at some point this season. And
I think that's a little high.
you think?
I think that's a little high.
I mean, I think he had 30 this week. I'm gonna double check so that once again, I'm not over here saying BS to you guys.
I
But
could see 20% of the targets, or not targets, 20% of the snaps like through the
yeah, he
season,
had
I'd say.
29% of snaps this week.
Well, we don't know what was caused because of this weather. That's what I'm going to be like honest about. I do
Then
like Herbert, and I do like Khalil Herbert. I have him on a few benches. I do, but I just think it's really hard that to go off either of the team's game plans that they showed that game. I really do.
possibly, but last year with another different coaching staff, obviously it was Nagy and he probably is not good, but Montgomery was losing work to Herbert back then, and it wasn't anything, too crazy or meaningful, but it did happen. So
It did.
Montgomery is better than him. I fully believe that. Don't get me wrong. But I do think Herbert is talented enough to warrant touches. I think he really runs with good balance. I think he runs with good vision and strength. So I it's kind of a common theme here for me to say now that I'm low on certain running backs, I guess, because now Kamara and Montgomery, I'm talking about how I'm low on them. But I think we can't count on Montgomery the way we probably thought we could have coming into the season. And not to say
I
that he's
mean,
bad by any means, but
he's still
30%
going
of
to be an RB2.
yeah, he absolutely an RB2.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll leave it at that. And Cole Kmet, um, like you said, if you're high on him, stay high on him. I wasn't, so if you weren't high on him, like I wasn't, you're good, bro. You're not. I don't think you're missing out on anything. I think he had like 2 targets, and targets aren't the be all end all in the game in a game like this. But uh,
Mooney didn't do anything either. Fields had 120 yards, bro. 100 and like what? 60 of them were to Dante Pettis on that broken ass play. He like threw it up. I was like, what the hell's happening?
nah,
And then he
it was.
just
I think honestly, it was 50 on that, and then I think it was another 50 to Equinemius St. Brown.
yes, that's yeah. So like literally threw for 20 yards outside of this. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel what you're saying about Herbert, but that's how the NFL is going towards it. Like they're going towards an offense going to use 2 running backs, and we saw that actually. Good is a good way to segue into Kamara and Jones and Dillon.
Yeah.
We saw Aaron Jones had 5 targets and 5 carries. AJ Dillon had 10 carries and 6 targets. Now, we both were hyping up Dillon this offseason in the last episode.
Yep.
But this is not going to be how it goes. Jones is going to have games where he has more touches and opportunities than Dillon, but they're both going to be very involved. I was watching Rogers Tuesday today on the McAfee show, and Rogers, he was like, yeah, our receivers, like, it is what it is, but we got to find ways to get 33 and 28 more involved.
Yeah.
He trusts them. Obviously, you saw what happened. Watson dropped a long touchdown. Dobbs got a few targets. He got looked at, I think, the most out of any of the receivers. Lazard was missing. He'll be the biggest threat at receiver for them. But outside of that, Dillon and Jones, both of them, get one of them on your fantasy teams. If you're I think Dillon, we said it last week, we think that for his value, he's better than Jones for where you draft him. I mean, Jones in the second's nice, but Dillon in the sixth he was going in?
Just about.
All day. I mean, look at that. He got 16 opportunities this week, and it was beautiful. It was awesome to see. It was really awesome. He scored. He got in the end zone, and there's much better days ahead for him. He's going to have much better games than that, too.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Dillon this year.
Yeah, the Packers offense is definitely going to pick things up. And
yes.
whether what?
No, I said yes because they started last year the same. They were shit last year in the first game.
Bro, I forgot who they played last year. I think it was
the Saints.
Yes, it was the Saints.
It was the Saints.
They got fucking ass whooped by the Saints. And then, Rodgers MVP and Devontae Adams is like overall wide receiver 2 or something like that. So, Green Bay in general is going to be fine. The running backs are going to be fine. Rodgers is going to be okay. I don't know how this receiver situation plays out. I don't think anybody knows. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers knows. So, no. bro, they'll ask this guy in the fucking locker room. They'll ask him in the locker room, like, thoughts on Amari Rodgers, and then he'll be like, "Oh, he's returning kicks for us. That's just about what he's doing right now." Like,
I love Rodgers. So many people hate him, but he's a funny ass. He's a cool guy. I feel like
Bro, I like me being me. Like over here in my bedroom, looking at Twitter clips of coach speak and all this stuff. That shit's funny to me, obviously. But bro, if I'm Amari Rodgers, I can't lie to you, bro. I'd be like, yo, like, why, dude? Like,
I mean, he's being honest, bro. What do you want him to lie? You want him to be like, oh yeah, maybe he'll get an opportunity. He knows he's not getting on the field.
Even Amari knows he's not getting an opportunity.
Nah. But yeah, the story is Dillon, great. Jones, great. If you have either of them on your fantasy team, you'll be happy this year. So I think we got one more main thing that we want to go over as Cam Akers, right?
This
is your boy, so you can kick it off.
Yeah, do you want to just make that like a full thing, like I said, with the trends thing?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So, just we're gonna be looking at some things that happened week 1, and talk about if we think it's gonna be a trend or not. So, I'll kick it off with Cam Akers. And is it going to be a trend that Cam Akers gets 3 touches? No.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Is it going to be a trend that Cam underperforms and makes you regret drafting him where you did? That's to be the question. Now I want to hear about 3 touches. I want to hear, is he going to underperform and make you regret taking his ass where you did? Because I guarantee you he will.
All right, where was I'm gonna look up official sleeper ADP for Cam Akers
I
because
couldn't tell you because I never drafted him. So
all right, Cam Akers ADP.
probably 3rd, 4th round. I think it was 4th, middle of 4th.
All right, let's see. Fantasy Pros ADP for Cam Akers and PPR leagues. He came off as the 19th overall running back. So
I think that's still 4th round, 5th.
about
Maybe.
Yeah, I think right around there.
Yeah.
If you're asking me if he's going to be a top 20 back for the rest of this year, are we counting week 1?
Of course.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
sure you started him.
I don't think
Did
he's
you
going to.
start him this week?
I did start him in the one league this week.
Yeah, we're counting week 1.
And it broke me, bro. But I have to be honest. I think by around week 3 or 4, he'll be getting on the field about, maybe 50,
6
60%
snaps.
of the time. Hopefully. I mean, like, I obviously see this shit through like rose-colored glasses because I love Cam Akers, but I just honestly don't think that if he doesn't miss his blocks in pass pro, that he's gonna be off the field. Like, I legitimately think that's the issue, and he was hurt coming into the game. I spoke about this a little bit with our boy on Twitter.
Mike
So
O'Malley.
yeah, shout out Mike O'Malley, man. Always supporting
Gonna
us.
get you on here.
Yeah.
For sure.
I spoke about it with him, and there was, he like bad running the ball. He got hit in the backfield right away. Like, you can say what you want. It doesn't look good, so I'm not even gonna make an excuse for him on that. But when he caught a pass behind the line of scrimmage from Stafford, I think he made 1 or 2 guys miss, and he looked pretty explosive doing it. So, I know I'm grasping at straws right here, talking about one particular play, but I just don't think, if he brings that type of juice on every single play, I don't think Darrell Henderson's going to be playing over this guy. I have to be honest and stick with my gut. I know I could look stupid down the line for this, but it's what I believe, man. I'm sorry.
I wanted just to ask you, okay, so Akers' Achilles was about 2 years ago now, right?
No. It was about I think like a year and a month and a half or something like that. Like maybe a year and 2 months.
A year and a half almost. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had 2 players on Sunday come out, right? Both had their Achilles ruptured in December of last year, so 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know where
Sterling Shepard had about a 65
snap
yard
count.
touchdown.
Oh
No,
yeah,
the touchdown.
yeah.
He had a very long touchdown. He was looking good on the field. He's looking good at practice. And then James Robinson came in the game, and he put 2 of them bitches in the end zone, right? James Robinson looked good, but James Robinson also has been a more traditional back. He's not as explosive in his play style as someone like Cam Akers would
Yeah.
be. So maybe that benefits his recovery a little more. But you have 2 players that ruptured their Achilles like much, much sooner than Cam Akers did, and came out and looked much, much better
Yeah.
than Cam Akers has in both the playoffs, mostly the playoffs. That's the main time we saw him. Sean McVay was giving him the ball, giving him all the opportunities, and he was stinking it up. It was bad. You can admit that. And then this week we couldn't really get much of a fair shot, but I just think at this
Yeah.
point you can't sell him. You can't sell him because you're not getting anything for him.
I
You
think
got to hold him and hope. But I have no shares and I have no hope. I have no hope.
I'm not laughing at you, but that just rolled off the tongue really well. Man.
I'll tell you what I traded him for though.
When
I had
was
one
this?
share. This was June 24th. I sold Akers in a 23 first, which for DeAndre Swift. to someone that was high on Akers, I guess.
I mean, look, I love Akers,
That's
bro.
just that's
That's
I
the
don't know.
that's
That
the
guy high
first.
on Akers. Shout
Yeah.
out to him. Shout out to
Um.
Swift. I mean, 23 first. Even if it's the last pick, which it's not. It's not a late one. It's like a mid. But even if it's late first, we talked about this. We're gonna have a whole episode on it. Just prospects now, and then we can do one obviously down the line and see like who's still relevant, who else became relevant since then. But we're gonna give you guys a nice list of guys to start watching on Saturdays, coming up soon.
Yep. All right. So just one more last little tangent to defend Cam Akers, and then we'll move on a little
Yes,
bit.
and then we'll do a few more players and be out.
Yeah. So I watched all those guys play. James Robinson, even Marlon Mack, from a year and a little bit a while ago. James Robinson, from those guys, and then, like I said, it was just one play. But watching Akers make a couple guys miss, that did make me feel good.
On that reception that was like 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah. And I do think that the biggest worry for an Akers owner right now is honestly that he's an idiot. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that the explosiveness or the talent is a question mark. I think the biggest concern is that he does not know what he's doing in pass pro, and that the fact that the Rams have a completely horrible line. That's the two biggest problems with him for me. And I don't know if he's gonna stop being dumb. I don't know if he's gonna pick up the scheme.
Is he
I
gonna hit
hope.
the weight room?
What?
Is he gonna hit the weight room?
I mean, I think he's decently. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I'm not working out with him, but I think he's in shape. I like the missed block was really freaking bad, bro. So I think that's why he got taken off, and I don't know if he's gonna, fix that up or not. My faith is that he will. So that's all I got for him. I don't think the recovery is an issue. I think it's mental, and I'm hoping that you could fix that, because it's harder to make somebody who's not athletic into an athlete than it is to make somebody pick up a blocking scheme. So that's my tangent and all that for Cam Akers.
Okay. So I am gonna talk about my boy Allen Robinson, who it was a crime, honestly, what happened to him this week. It was complete crap because Matt Stafford was looking like dog shit, overthrowing, underthrowing, just being bad, making bad decisions. I think it's the elbow has a lot to do with it, but I think he will be okay. I
Yeah.
think he's got to get back into it, but I'm not concerned too much about the elbow. But you give 2 targets. This is Allen Robinson's lowest amount of targets in his career. And one of them was a bullshit target. It
Yep.
was like a end of the
It was a
game.
throwaway.
It's already over. Yeah. So that's not fair because he was open. If you watch a lot of the plays, he was getting open. He could have gotten the ball his way, and it just wasn't happening. So, I mean, Cooper Kupp is going to demand his targets, but to give him 15 and to give Allen Robinson 2, it's just not going to happen. It's not sustainable. Like you saw what they got destroyed. They need to spread the ball. They need to get their playmakers. If you're going to throw it to Cooper Kupp every damn play, it might work. It might work. It did work in the Super Bowl. Everyone knew it was going there, and he couldn't stop him. But
Yeah.
you're going to give the ball to Allen Robinson. He's a talented player. You brought him in for a reason. He looked good in camp. He had a good rapport with Stafford. Like something is going to give, and they're playing Atlanta this week, and I beg you to start him.
Ooh.
Start Allen Robinson this week against Atlanta.
Are you starting him in your wide receiver spot, or are you starting him as a flex? Obviously, that depends on roster, but how confident are you? You're starting him as a wide receiver 2 with full confidence?
Wide receiver 2 or 3, yeah.
Okay.
He's in. I mean, I have 3 receiver, 3 flex leagues, so like it doesn't really matter where they start. Like,
Yeah, that all over fucking leagues are like that.
yeah, it's just all the same shit. But yeah, I'm starting Allen Robinson. Well, in my redraft actually, which is just a regular like 2 receiver, 3 flex. Like, I'm starting him there too. He's. You can't tell me that he's not good. You can't tell me that he's going to continue getting 2 targets a damn game, and you can't tell me that like, dude, he's just too talented for me to believe that he fell off a cliff the way that people believe he did.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I think to your point,
He's not even old. He's 29.
yeah. I look. I agree. I'm not the biggest Allen Robinson fan, but the Bills' defense is absolutely one of the best defenses in the league. And not only am I saying this because I'm a Cam Akers fan, but if this is week 9, you know, and they've had good performances, and then they absolutely crap the bed against the Bills, would you be worried? No, because you've seen them play well. So the only difference now is it was week 1.
Mhm.
Will they play well going forward? I can't guarantee that. But what I can tell you is their line was getting worked all night by a team with a much better defensive line and a great secondary with 2 of the best safeties in the league. And Matt Stafford did not look great. So I think it's fair to draw a conclusion about either of these guys. I don't think it's fair to write off Allen Robinson, considering he played very high. I believe it was 84% of snaps. If you want to double check that for me.
I'll double check right now. Yeah.
So, but I believe it was around there. And the targets are going to come. They didn't pay him $45 million over 3 years to just not target him. Like that would be ridiculously stupid. And I don't think that the Rams are a stupid organization. So I do believe it was a one-off game. I don't believe that he's going to be as good as some might have thought, as like a top 15 receiver or something like that.
Wait,
But
you asked me to check something, right? What was it?
his snap.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, he played 97%.
Look, I'm actually an idiot because I said 84. So
And there's like a clip someone put on Twitter of like him just getting, and it's zone coverage, but he's getting open. He's like, it's just really, really aggravating.
look, they got stuff to iron out. They lost Austin Blythe, their starting center. They lost Whitworth. Odell was gone. They had Noah Van Jefferson this week. They added Allen Robinson to the mix. There was a lot of stuff going on, and they played one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. So, I would just hold your horses on all Rams players because these guys deserve another week, if not more.
Especially Cooper Kupp. Like, don't drop him. You said these Rams players, man.
Do not drop Cooper Kupp. You're right, bro.
All right.
All right.
So what do we got?
I have 2 more topics that I wanted to touch on, and then we can start.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm gonna solo this for a little while. So I wanted to touch on Kyle Phillips and Treylon Burks for the Tennessee Titans, and how good they both looked this week. Obviously, I was watching that game very closely because they were playing the Giants. But between Phillips and Burks, I know Phillips had 6 catches, I think, for about 60 yards. And he did look really good. He was, beating our corners often.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, respect to Dory Jackson, but you're right. And in only 46% of snaps, Kyle Phillips got 9 targets. So 9 targets for 6 catches, 66 yards. And he returned 4 punts for 60 yards. Some of our leagues, like Ballbusters, is punt return yards.
Yeah, it is.
This dude put up an 18, 19-point game with no touchdown on 46 snaps, 46% of snaps. So obviously not every league is like ours with punt return yards. That was a little crazy. But he's a good player, and there's been a lot of camp hype about him. He's 23. I normally try to pump the brakes on these guys who are like fifth year seniors and stuff like that in college, but he came out on the football field and he played really well. So he's earned a little bit of respect, and
He's a name to monitor for sure.
definitely starting slots in this league and decent to good offenses are going to put up points,
Yeah.
just off volume and whatnot alone. So Uh, I think Kyle Phillips is somebody who if people want to cash out, obviously your league better than I do, but Kyle Phillips is somebody who I'm cool giving up maybe like a third round pick or something like that for if you can get him for that. 2/3, I'm cool with that too. And then my boy, one of the guys who I love the most, who I had in my tier 1 of receivers for this draft. I'm sure a lot of people did, but I love this kid from before his sophomore season started. Treylon Burks on 37% of snaps, had 5 targets for 3 catches and 55 yards, 18.3 yards per catch.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say if he gets like 80% of snaps. And Robert Woods looked horrible, by the way. If you're playing redraft and you have Robert Woods, drop him. I don't care. He's bad. He's off an ACL. He's 31 years old.
Oh,
I don't think he's doing anything this year.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
I liked him as a late,
but I don't know, man. I think both these kids are better than him right now.
No, it's fair. I mean, I was under the intentions that he was gonna be, I heard he was progressing, he's fully healthy, looked good, and it was kind of disappointing to see him get 2 targets. I think he'll be more involved in the offense. He has to be, like, in the coming weeks for sure, but
There's a difference between being more involved, which I believe he will be. If he doesn't average like 4 or 5 targets a game, I think there will be something wrong if that's the case. I think he'll average around there, but I don't think he's better than Treylon or Kyle Phillips right now. And coming on here, I have to be honest and I have to give my honest opinion. So, excuse me.
I'm worried for sure about Robert Woods. He was someone I actually liked a lot this year as a late value, or even like a throw-in a dynasty trade. I'm like, oh, just give me Robert Woods,
Yeah.
And I thought, for a contending team, I thought he'd be a good start as the number 1 receiver while the rookies were kind of getting
Acclimated.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I could be definitely wrong on that now. I mean, Phillips has looked good. Burks, obviously, we all know he's good. Unless you go to fantasy Twitter, then he's like a bust already. But shit, I hope Robert Woods can get it together. Bobby Trees, man, we love you. Pull up for us, please.
Did the thing just cut off for you?
You froze. I didn't.
What?
You froze on my screen, but I was
All right, now
still
we're back.
moving.
All right. So yeah, point being, obviously he's not going to hold up a 5 targets per 37% of snaps played, because if that's the case, then if he plays 100% of snaps, he's getting 15 targets, and I don't think that's happening. But when he's playing 75-80% of snaps, I can see him getting 8-9 targets, and he's a great player, so he'll do something with those. And lastly, to wrap up, just because we are a little bit up against it for time, the last guy I wanted to bring up was Christian Kirk. Number 1 in his offense with Trevor Lawrence. They moved the ball well. They ran the ball really well. They had a great line run blocking. And if he's going to get the type of volume that he got this week, he's a good player, and he's going to put up yards and catches at least. I know that they kind of sounded weird to say, but he's going to get volume and he's a good player, so therefore he's going to get catches and yards, and they're a good offense. So naturally he'll get touchdowns.
They're a good offense.
I think so. I think they will be, is what I should say.
How good? Top half? Top 16?
I would say, I wouldn't say top half is guaranteed, but I would guarantee 14
20?
to 18.
Top half is 16.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're saying not guaranteed, 14 to 18. Okay.
I would I wouldn't
so you're saying
guarantee
top 20.
that's all, but I think if anything, I think they can be in the middle and then, a little bit either way.
Okay, so give or take a top half offense.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was laughing because you withdrew your offer to me with Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
You son of a bitch. I was thinking about it. It was not a bad offer, okay? It was not bad. I might have to send you a little offer later. Same shit. But yeah, he looked good. I mean, he's the number one. He's got paid like it. He followed the money.
Yeah. No hard feelings on it. I just, had to cover my ass a little bit.
No,
So
it's good. I like Kirk. I do. I think he's a good option too. I mean, I have him on one of my redraft squads. I got him starting in the flex. I mean, yeah, it was nothing. You like to see everything you saw game one from a number one receiver for Trevor Lawrence.
yeah.
But I think that about wraps it up. Touched on some good subjects.
Yeah.
Good luck in week 2, everybody.
Yes.
Hopefully, I had a rough one. I lost 2 games, one by .08 and one by like .4. And then I lost 2 other games to the highest scorer, and I would have beaten everyone else by at least 25. So it was not a fun week 1, but we bounced back.
That is the worst, man.
It was shit. It was I was looking at my sleeper and I was sick and I was like, fuck football. And I was like, nah, like we're back. Can't be mad at football, bro. But like it's some bullshit sometimes. That's
Yeah.
why real quick, have you ever played with League Medium?
Bro,
League Median?
I was about to say, take care. See you guys later. Don't forget to play with the league median.
Dude, I was gonna try it. I've never used it. I'm in like 15 leagues and
I have 2
I've
weeks
never
to do
used it.
it, and it's really great. I love it.
I think I gotta adapt to that shit.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, that about wraps it up. Wishing you good luck in your games this week. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
tuning in with us. We really appreciate it. And yeah.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
fucking go Giants, baby.
Let's go Giants. Saquon.
Go.